Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this special bulletin. I think it's time for me to go ahead and eat some crow on this one. Although there is a question, there's still a few questions I have. Talking about the Nintendo Switch, not the console, well, the handheld itself, because, well, I'm not alone and not really thinking, well, so far, we'll get to that. The price being $450 and $500, it's questionable. You decide the value for yourself on whether or not this console's worth it. But I really can't disagree anymore on the prices of the games, depending on the speculation that, well, the digital versions are going to be cheaper than the hard copy, the physical versions of these games. That remains to be seen, unless someone can point me in the directions of some confirmation, because, well, based on this, we have Bravely Default over here. You have a couple of them. Street Fighter 6 that has, if you can't see this little tag right here, this is Walmart.com. I found it myself. I was finally able to find it myself. A few people posted links online, and I don't really trust the little short, mini bit, tiny URLs, because last time I did that, went to Walmart, got scammed out of a whole bunch of money, but I got it back and it's okay. So I found it for myself, and not just on an Australian video game website. This is Walmart.com and the good old US of A. Street Fighter 6, I thought this was a bit expensive for it, but apparently it's got the first two expansions, so maybe $60 might not be that bad. But let's go ahead and look at Mario Kart World. We already knew that was $80, and it doesn't have that little disclaimer. If you can see down here on Street Fighter 6 and Bravely Default, I know, I'm sorry, it's the disclaimer that you are only getting a download code, essentially like you would get in some of the discs we get now on so-called physical versions, where you go to the store, you buy it because you're a collector. You want that disc, even though we have to download day one patches half the time. I don't even want to say half the time, probably no, let's go with 100% of the time. I'm going there. All the darn time. 2 minutes in, all the damn time. Always. Why is that? Why can't we get finished games? Just the games on the disc. Moving on. Street Fighter 6 and Bravely Default right here in the listing that has the disclaimer. Mario Kart World does not. Kirby does not. So I can't find, again, share me the information because, well, I procrastinate and I'm lazy. I'm not lazy. I'm procrastinate. Put things off to the last minute before I hit record. Where is the information coming from that the games are going to cost $90? Is it speculation from Nintendo's statement that the digital will cost less? I do wonder if that's the case, if this Mario Kart World and Kirby, as well as the hell you doing with Zelda Switch 2 edition, $80, it's an older game. Maybe the digital version will cost $10 less. Maybe we're speculating in the wrong direction. I'm not going to give a definitive statement on that or any sort of opinion on it, because one plate of crow is really just enough for me. I could sit there and defend Mario Kart World. Oh, you're going to get hundreds, if not thousands of hours at that. It's the price of entry. Not everyone's going to have that kind of money. I do at times, but I'm going to be more selective if and when I do eventually get a Switch 2, because I do plan on it. I want to. I'll be honest with you. I would love to get my hands on it. Will the bundled version be available by the time I'm able to afford it? Who knows? We'll see. Not everyone can afford these ridiculous prices. $80, Nintendo. Have you lost your ever-loving minds? It's bad enough in the past few years after a decade, and don't give me that inflation. Video games is a luxury item. Inflation does not affect luxury items as much as you want to believe, nor does manufacturing cost or production cost or anything like that. Luxury items are determined by the people who are going to buy them. And Nintendo, I do definitively believe this, Nintendo is high on their own farts, believing that their fan base, their potential customer base, will be more than willing to shell out the money. Is this going to have an effect on the rest of the market? They're going to try. Nobody in the right mind, however, well, emphasis on their right mind, is going to sit there and pay $80 for an Ubisoft game or an Electronic Arts game. At least, I'd like to hope not. Please don't do this. Can we keep the prices at around $70 for 10 years? That'd be great. Luxury items, folks. Think about that. Just think about that. Don't give me the defense that in 1995, video games were this price. Well, that's because, again, same reason. Luxury items, people were able to pay that price at the time. Why do you think the price of video games went down? Maybe because people were buying less and less video games. Perhaps that's pure speculation and they don't know how to talk. But that's not the only thing. Nintendo's going up on their prices. I am not familiar with the Amiibos or anything like that. But apparently the Street Fighter 6 Amiibos are $10 more? Is there a reason for that? Is it because of the big nasty tariffs coming this way, even though the price of the product was determined months in advance and the tariffs only showed up, or the announcement of said tariffs only came up in the past, couple of days, today, past week, dating the video? Yeah, sure. And even now, there's already discussions with the good old President Orange Man Cheeto Hair. Right now, I don't care. I make jokes, people. I don't care about politics. Moving on. There's already discussions about There's already negotiations about these tariffs. So they get announced, people spurg out, and then for no reason, because that's what negotiations do anyway. Moving on. The fun part, Nintendo, well, at least their streaming events have run into a bit of a, dilemma. Because I don't remember which one this was. Cult Classic Cage shared this for us. And I got another one from good old Stuttering Craig. These were 2 different days, I believe. Because Nintendo had their little Treehouse event over 2 days, if not more. And as you can see, drop the price, drop the price, drop the price. This is a minute-long video. Okay? Are we playing? Drop the price, drop the price. Let's go ahead and pause this for a moment. If you can see, drop the price just one after another after another. 34,000 people in this stream. We'll go ahead and keep playing it. Oh, it's paused. Oh, keeps on going. Just keeps going and going and going. Over a minute. Let's go check out the other one from good old Stuttering Craig. The game is actually N64 graphics. We'll get to that in a moment, too. People are complaining about the graphics capability. Nintendo is going to do their own thing, but let's check this one out as well. This one's got 33,000, so I do wonder if they're the same stream, or I wonder if this one is them responding to the stream. Y'all correct me, but drop the price. Oh, it's just going and going and going, much like a 33,000 viewer chat should go, just nonstop. You want to pause it? Drop the price. Boycott Nintendo. Oh, if only. If only. I have some opinions on that too. We'll get to them. It just keeps going and going. This one's a 51 second, so let's get on to it. The whole thing about graphics and Nintendo, it's been a very long time since Nintendo innovates. They are not competing. They're not part of the console war. They're not part of the uber stellar graphics competition with PlayStation, Microsoft, the PC. They're competing with themselves, and they pretty much say it right here. This little article from GameSpot, not aimed at people who want high performance hardware. People who play Nintendo games, who buy Nintendo games, want Nintendo games. They're not looking for realistic graphics. They're looking for Pokemon games, Zelda games, Mario Kart, Mario Party, and the like. It is a very, very particular demographic. You have normies out there coming in and out, which is why they're so popular and why they had the utmost faith of doing this kind of nonsense over here. And of course, we all know Nintendo doesn't like to have sales. They don't drop the prices on anything. Well, everything coming to a head as of today, the time of the recording. Pre-orders delayed, and Nintendo fans across the United States raged, screeched, cried out in panic. Nintendo Switch pre-orders delayed. I think there's some other companies, other countries, Poland, Denmark, somewhere about there, have been announcing they were able to get their hands on pre-orders already. So, well, considering you're talking about good old Trump tariffs, obviously this is only going to affect the United States, right? Interesting. Pre-order window amid Trump tariff review. Let's check out this article from that Park Place. Nintendo Switch 2 has hit its first speed bump. The pre-order, like the console doesn't come out for another couple of months. How far are these delayed? I think they'll be fine. Tariffs are tariffs. We've had them for decades upon decades upon decades. So we'll just see where this goes. It could even increase the price. What are people going to do then? If you think the $450 and $500 is high, if you think that $80 price tag is high, is this going to have an effect? There's a lot of wait and see, I think. A little bit of panic, lots of speculation, but we need to get back to wait and see. But let's get back to the article. Switch 2 has hit its first speed bump, not in production or development, but in pre-ordering timing. Just pre-ordering so far. Originally set to begin on April 9th, Nintendo has delayed Switch 2 pre-orders in the United States only due to evolving trade conditions, specifically to evaluate the impact of newly announced tariffs introduced by President Donald Trump. In a statement provided to The Verge, Nintendo spokesperson Eddie Garcia explained, pre-orders for Nintendo Switch 2 in the US will not start April 9th in order to assess the potential impact of tariffs and evolving market conditions. Evolving market conditions. I wonder what that means. Inflation? Huh? Everybody's talking about inflation. Nintendo will update timing at a later date. Isn't that interesting? Official launch date June 5th, 2025. Skip those numbers there. Remains unchanged. And the company reaffirmed its commitment to that schedule. Well, of course it's coming out on that date. It might make a bunch of people right that the tariffs are going to affect the price, because the speculation that it affected the announced price, well, that was foolish. Well, things changed really overnight with this lovely announcement. Delay in pre-orders follows President Trump's announcement of the new wave of tariffs intended to bolster American manufacturing and ensure fairer trade practices. I am not even remotely familiar with the trade practices or the tariffs that are already in place and have been in place for decades. Electronics and gaming hardware are among the categories companies are reviewing in light of these developments. Now, what do you think could possibly happen if, the tariffs are a bit high and all of a sudden the other countries, because I think this is a bit of speculation. This is something people have been talking about, something I know nothing about, so please educate me in the comment section down below. What about the possibility that the countries that good old Donald Trump puts on them, the tariffs he sends out, they realize how much money they're going to lose? Because if you're not shipping to the United States, that is a massive market of consumerism, because we loves to consume over here. Renegotiation for all the tariffs across the board, the ones that have been in place for decades already, that you didn't know anything about until this announcement, just like me. I'm not speaking to everyone, but you know who you are. Perhaps renegotiation across the board could be a net benefit for everyone across the board. Did anyone ever think about that? My brain goes all over the place with this kind of stuff. But the bottom line, I never expected Nintendo to get this much backlash when the original announcement for video games, the prime price, the basic AAA price bumping up from $60 to $70, people had a lot to say. But Nintendo wasn't really involved in that. They stayed nice and quiet. Maybe that was for a reason. They planned on raising their prices long before that came out 2 years ago or 3 years ago, however long it's been since then. We forget, don't we? I do. I forget easily. One thing after another. After my lovely little plate of crow, looks like more games and more games, or at least the majority of the games, at least the first-party titles, the Nintendo-published titles. Because the positive, just like you can see Bravely Default here, Nintendo is not mandating the price the developer wants to sell their game at. It will be developer instituted. Is that a good word? I like it. It's a good word. The developer is gonna name the price, and Nintendo will probably get a percentage or whatever. But of course, as far as Nintendo first-party titles, Kirby, Mario, Zelda, apparently not Donkey Kong. I guess they don't have any faith in Donkey Kong, or no. They don't like Donkey Kong that much. They dropped his price $10. I guess we can expect the $80 price tag. Looks like my theory was wrong. The Amiibos, y'all explain this to me, please. What's the difference between the $20 and the $30 Amiibo? Why is Street Fighter $10 more than everything else? Nintendo's catching a lot of crap right now. How much more are they going to catch before they have to, actually have a meeting. Is this going to affect the price? Can't imagine Nintendo dropping their prices, even with half the chat during the live streams screaming, drop the price, drop the price. There are a couple of more Nintendo Directs coming up. We'll see how they handle those, see the popularity. I have no doubt in my mind that this will be the chat for those. But that's all I've got for now. Let's look forward to the tariffs, the renegotiations, and well, can't really deny the possibility of the prices actually going up even higher. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Leave a like, leave a dislike, do all the nifty little things us YouTubers beg you to do. Subscribe, and I hope to see you on next time.